Shawn Sheiber.
How's that?
We're going to have a conversation. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Busting my balls about being here. So now you're here.
Yeah, finally.
So now you're on the hot seat. Let's start off the same way I like to start off with everybody. What brought you to martial arts?
So I believe I started karate at a young age. It was Tung Sudo.
Okay.
It was in Elmhurst, and I think we did it to like the age of 10. But stopped martial arts because of time scheduling, and when you're in like high school, elementary school, you just like, hey, listen, we can't do this anymore. The time is not helping.
Right.
So, and then a year or two later, jiu-jitsu.
So you've been a year now, at least a year, right? You had a year anniversary in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I believe it was July.
So yeah, so you're just over a year. So now what's been your experience with jiu-jitsu, right? You come in, first day in, you're wildly out of shape.
Wildly out of shape. Actually, I was 275 pounds.
Okay. Well, round is a shape.
Yeah,
so
I was round.
Shape.
I was very round. No, I come in, and it's my second. Actually, it wasn't the first time that I showed up to your place.
Okay.
The first time I showed up, I believe it was on a Tuesday, and I went to go jiggle the door handle, and I couldn't open it. I was like, oh well, all right, come back in another day. Thursday, I just said, I was telling Julius, Julius, I can't open the door, like, whatever, like, what the hell's going on? He's like, oh yeah, the door handle's like messed up. You just gotta like crank
really
it and
give
open
it a
up.
good, yeah.
So I walk in, meet you. Now it's like, it was actually like I believe it was a fairly small class, and I do remember it was the I believe it was Kimura.
Okay.
We were doing a Kimura choke.
Kimura
and
guillotine choke. From
yes.
Punch Block 1.
Yes,
Yeah.
from the Punch Block 1 series.
Yep.
Yeah. And I after I got out of class, I was dripping in sweat. I mean, like, it was just like, there was just puddles. And I just fell in love with it. It was like, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stay and do this. This is cool. But you don't realize that, like, you're using, like, all these, like, different muscles in jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
So, like, the first day you're like, okay, I'm a little sore. And then, like, we were doing the, actually, I believe we were going back to the Neon Belly series.
Neon Belly stuff?
Yeah. And I remember I was rolling with Casey, was my partner.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen Casey in a hot minute. I'm going to have to message him.
Yeah. And, dude, I couldn't, my legs were so sore. I was shaking. Like, I was like, I'm like, Casey, I'm just going to fall on you. I'm sorry. And I'm like, I just flopped on him, and I'm like, oh my God, my legs are so sore. I couldn't even walk up the stairs.
You know what's funny? I remember that I teach a lot of classes, obviously, right? I remember that class because you guys were doing the Neon Belly, and for some reason you guys had got like really close to the mat, the edge of the mat, and you like grabbed Casey by both ankles and like pulled him like a rag doll away from the edge of the, it was something that was just so starkly funny to me to see, like, this big guy grab this small guy and just drag him. It was like you were dragging a corpse, and for some reason that just always stuck out in my head.
I don't remember that.
It's just a random thought that I had that makes me giggle sometimes. Yeah. So you bring joy to me at times when I'm feeling sad. I just think about that.
Oh God!
I see you dragging his corpse across the
but Julius actually got me into his place. You know, for anybody that doesn't know, Julius brought me through the door because I thought I could tap him. Let's
tell that story, because that's a funny story. So you and Julius were working together.
Julius and I were working together, and we started to get close because I went back on the morning shift, and I was always busting him. I was like, oh man, I could take you down. I was 275 pounds. I was a freaking house. I was so fat.
And
Julius
is like 140-ish.
Oh yeah, the guy's a little skinny guy. I'm like, dude, you do jiu-jitsu? Yeah, okay. I could just fall on you and you'd be like, oh, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And he kept he's like, oh, well, just show up. Come on, show up to jiu-jitsu. And I didn't want to say it was only for a week or two.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, what's this place called? He goes, Gracie NEPA. I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
and then eventually I walked through the door, and a year later we're here having this discussion.
And you're down how much weight?
I am 230 now.
So over 40 pounds, right?
Yeah, just from doing jiu-jitsu alone. Yeah, so that was
goal in mind. Like, do you have like an ideal in mind?
Currently, right now, like competing at Naga,
Mm-hmm.
like I just want to stay in this. I just want to stay at 230.
Yeah.
However, I do want to hit 180 eventually. I'm just lazy, and I just don't want to drop like another.
Well, it's one of those things too. Like with weight loss, you have to do it over time. To safely do it, you have to do it over time. You know what I mean? Because like you don't want to drop a bunch of weight and then you look like, you know, melted pudding in a bathing suit. You want to like drop the weight smart, put on muscle, you know, be fucking jacked up in your Speedo at the beach.
But I couldn't like
dripping in girls, you know, and that'll all be jiu-jitsu. And then what happens is you'll get in great shape, all jacked up, marching down the beach in your Speedo, women all over you like Ric Flair.
That's how I feel now.
And then and then you know you get a girlfriend, and then she's like, "Don't go to jiu-jitsu tonight," and then you quit, and 5 years later you're fat again. So you can't ever quit jiu-jitsu.
No, I can't. I love it too much to quit.
And that's true story. People do that all the time. They like get in great shape, and then they get a girl, and the girl goes, "Don't go to jiu-jitsu tonight," and then tonight turns into 5 years, and then they come back 5 years later, and they're like, "My girl broke up with me. I'm so heartbroken, and I'm fat again." And you know, dude, I'm gonna get so flagged on YouTube. They're gonna be like, I'm fat shaming people.
Yeah,
but I'm really not. I'm not fat shaming people. I was fat when I started jiu-jitsu. I'll tell that story all the time. I was 200 pounds when I started jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Yep. The day I walked in the door, I thought it was a donut shop. I didn't know what jiu-jitsu was. I thought I was coming in for like some Krispy Kreme or something. And then a year later, I was down 50 pounds. And
no shit.
Yeah.
But Monday, you just celebrated 8 years of being a black belt.
8 years of black belt this past Monday, yeah. Yep.
Really? That's crazy.
This is 22 years total.
22 years.
The end of this year will be 22 years.
And you're a second degree.
First degree.
First
degree. Yeah. Okay. Maybe by the time this airs, I'll actually be a second degree. We'll see.
And who tied your belt?
So my belt was presented to me by Mike Wacker and Rob Kahn. Also, there was Lamont Tyler, a friend of mine who's a Hoist Gracie black belt. Rob Kahn is a Hoist Gracie black belt, and Mike Wacker is a Rob Kahn black belt. And those were the three guys that were on the mat and presented me with my black belt. So.
That's funny you say Mike Wacker, because I actually, when I went up to the business trip up in Fishkill, I met Mike Wacker.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice guy. He was Black Hole BJJ.
Black Hole BJJ. Yeah. Which is named after the stadium that the Raiders played in.
Yeah, he's a
huge Raiders fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be perfect. He's got great jiu-jitsu. I mean, we can't hold Raiders fan against him. Yeah. He's a nice guy. You know. And if you don't know who Mike Wacker is, Google it. Mike Wacker is one of those black belts that you don't know, but you should know. Dude is really good. Like, really good.
And very friendly, too.
And super friendly, super nice guy. Yeah. Anybody that's up in that New York area, that Fishkill area, you got to go check out Mike, because he's good.
Yeah.
You had a great time with Mike.
Oh,
right?
yeah. We like did 10 rounds of like 5 minutes apiece, and we were just getting back from an injury, knee injury.
Yeah. And
you're just going at it with all these different people, like. It was nuts. It was insane.
There's levels to the game. Like, there's levels to the game. Even at black belt, there's levels to the game. When I was right around the time I was getting the black belt, I remember rolling with Mike. I don't know if it was before the black belt, after the black, whatever it was, but I felt helpless. I was like, what? This guy's not even trying. It was like me rolling with a white belt was like how I felt rolling with Mike. I was like, is this dude even trying right now? Like, I'm doing everything I can.
No kidding.
I'm making no headway. Dude, he's legit.
He's good.
He's super legit.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
So let's talk outside. I always like to get outside of jiu-jitsu. What do you do outside of jiu-jitsu?
Nothing.
You got a lot of ink. You got to do something.
Hey, tattoos.
What'd you do? Stencil that on yourself with Crayola or something?
Looks good, doesn't it?
It looks real good. Yeah.
A lot more to go.
Okay.
But that's the only thing. That's the only downside of tattoos is taking a week or 2 weeks off wherever you get the tattoo. And 2 weeks you're out of jiu-jitsu, so it's like getting back into it, your body gets sore again.
Yep.
Jiu-jitsu is not one of those martial arts where you can just come right back in and be fine. like you come back and after your first class, you're like, oh, I'm so sore.
Yeah.
That's how I was when I went back to Black Hole. When I got out of Black Hole and I came back here, my whole body was just shot. My shoulders were killing me. My neck, I got my neck cranked.
Yeah.
Ooh, good times.
Yeah, good times. It's
Yeah.
fun, man.
Oh yeah,
it's
it's great.
It's fun.
It is.
Yeah. So downtime, you're getting ink done. What else are you doing in your downtime besides like downloading stuff from Pornhub?
That's about it.
That's really about it. I get tattoos and
Yeah.
and watch porn.
No, I just work and basically all of that too. So I don't really have much going on.
All right.
Jiu-jitsu is my entertainment. Like I just come here and I'm like, it's my social hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, entertainment. We were just talking before we went live on the air here about entertainment value. You're watching some stuff now, right? You're watching She-Hulk.
Oh god, that's a dumpster fire. It is. It's horrible.
So I mean, you like, you're into like most of us, nerd shit.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I love
big nerd shit.
Like, I love
Star
nerd
Wars.
shit. Star Wars. We got a
Yeah.
lot of new Star Wars stuff coming up.
I'm still waiting for my Demon Slayer to come out,
Demon Slayer.
which you still haven't watched yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
You gotta.
I don't know. I'm not a huge anime guy.
I'm telling you, it's.
I got a cousin named Anime. Yeah, but I'm not a huge anime guy.
Mm,
Never really been into anime.
no.
I don't know. I mean, it's
It's different. It's
different.
hard. It's hard to like.
I think like the only anime I've watched, and I don't think it really qualifies as anime. It's more animation, but it's just the Star Wars stuff, Clone Wars and Rebels and
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
more anime is
Yeah.
more of the Japanese.
the Japanese style. Like I
Yeah.
watched the Star Wars anime stuff that came out.
Visions.
Visions.
Yeah,
I watched that.
That was good.
Yeah, some were good, some were meh. There was a couple meh.
Oh, there was more than
But-
one man.
There was some good ones in there. Yeah. I want the off-air rant that we had on air because I thought it was entertaining about She-Hulk. So
How just like honestly, like how do you just like push that out to people? It's just an absolute dumpster fire of a show. Like the CGI is horrible. The acting is even worse.
Yeah.
It's like it's just shit. It's just absolute garbage. Like I cannot like it's not funny. I do not laugh at. I mean, I maybe like chuckled at like one part. That's it. And there's just like there's no story behind it. Like
Yeah.
there's no story like driven it forward. She's like an attorney at law. Okay, cool. Where are we getting at? Like they showed off the guys with the Asgard weapons.
right, yeah.
And that was it. I'm like, okay, well, are they gonna tease anything? No, Megan Thee Stallion, whatever her name is,
I know
it's
what you
working
mean.
at the
Yeah,
end.
it's
It's
working
like,
at the end. Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool. Where's this going? It has no like, absolute like direction, and
In the cinematic universe, though, okay, you're dropped in the middle of Marvel universe, right? It's like for real life, you're dropped in the middle of Marvel universe. You're gonna make a run at She-Hulk, right? You're gonna be like, hey, can I buy you a drink? And
absolutely
see where it goes.
No
No
way in
No.
hell. Not a
Shit.
chance in hell.
You gotta tackle that mountain.
That's a big mountain.
Put your climbing boots on and get to work. You know? What else we got coming up? We got Star Wars. We got a lot of Star Wars coming up. Andor's
Alright.
coming up.
What's that?
Andor's coming up.
Never heard of it.
You
What
didn't
is
hear
it?
about
No.
Andor yet?
Yeah.
That's going to be about the rebels and all the stuff that took place in and around Rogue One. That should be good. Problem is, you know how the story ends already, so they have to make it really good. You got some new Obi-Wan coming out.
The behind the scenes of Obi-Wan.
Yeah. They
watching.
dropped some teasers and trailers on that.
It's not gonna be like
Yeah.
even Darth Vader was like his like costume was like okay, you got the Sith helmet. You had like a bunch of like they just looked like the prop team looked like they just meshed in Vader from all of the movies.
All the past movies, they were like,
Yeah,
we
and they were
found a
like,
helmet
okay,
from Empire,
helmet.
we found
Yeah.
this from
Okay,
Jedi.
you know? That's a new hope right there.
That's
It's like you guys like who did their research? Like how do you put this out?
kind of mashing it all. Maybe this is like Vader in his emo phase, where like he's just hitting random dress button, and he's just like. Eh.
I did like the end. I did think that was emotional at the end when they
Cried?
ripped out.
Just very close, right?
Teared
Yeah,
up a little
teared up
bit.
a little
I was
bit.
like, oh man,
Yeah.
my boy Anakin.
I did like how they cracked the mask and because they did that with Ahsoka Tano in the animated series.
Yeah.
She cracked the other side, and it was
Right.
like that. So that was a pretty cool, I think, like tie-in.
I thought it was
sometimes.
weird that James Earl Jones, his voice was more like digital.
Yeah. Well, he's an old guy. They got to clean it up. As we get older, our voice starts to crackle, and it's like you're going through puberty, but in reverse.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. My voice never used to sound like this. I used to have the voice of an angel.
Yeah.
Now
What happened?
I don't know. I got old, and it sounds like I smoke a pack of Newport a day.
You are pretty old.
I am.
You're a fossil.
I am. Yeah, I am. You guys forget I'm 50.
Oh, jeez, you're 50?
I know.
Oh, my God.
I got like
The
one foot in the
that you
grave.
said. Oh, yeah, you're...
Yeah. I'm already writing my will and
Yeah.
leaving this place to you guys. I figure I got another week or so.
Yeah, probably.
That's about it.
Not much time left. Really not much time
No,
left.
no. Now let's roll the dice. Random topic. What do you want to talk about? Don't make me regret it. Anything you want.
I can't think of anything right now. What about you? You're
Well, we touched on the fact that you're a nerd.
yeah, big nerd.
Touched on the fact that you
Was
are
fat.
on a weight
shit.
loss journey.
Yeah, fat as shit.
Yeah, but you're on the journey, and that's,
Oh, yeah.
that's positive. You know what I mean? Like, because I think a lot of times people. Here's one of the biggest things that I find, and I'm glad you didn't fall into this trap because you wouldn't be where you are today. I have to get in shape before I do jiu-jitsu. People say that to me all the time. They're like, "Oh, I really want to do it, but I got to lose some weight and I got to get in shape before I do jiu-jitsu." You're never going to do that. You haven't done it up to this point. You haven't dieted, you haven't ran, you haven't lifted, you haven't done anything. Use jiu-jitsu to get in shape.
Well, Julius would tell me, you'd be like sweating. He's like, come to jiu-jitsu, you'll get in shape very quickly there.
Yes.
And now I can see my body, like I could actually move now. Before I was like doing shrimping, I don't even think I could make it halfway on the mat, and
Yeah.
I was gassed. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't do this. I'm too fat.
Yeah, I refer to that as being deconditioned. Like your body's just deconditioned. It's so used to being sedentary, sitting at home on the couch, eating bonbons, watching She-Hulk. Now it's like your body's like, yo, you got to do shrimping, you got to do this, and you got to perform and not let this other human being who's trying to choke you do that. Because we simulate murder every day.
Oh yeah,
It's like slap, bump, try to murder your friends.
violent cuddling.
Yeah, violent cuddling. Yeah,
violent
and
cuddling.
now you're your body's like, what is this? What's going on?
But it feels like every time you take a step forward in jiu-jitsu, you take another step back.
That's fairly common.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I try to get across to not only white belts but even blue belts, baby birds, even blues and purple belts. There is an up and down. I just actually did a commentary episode about like slumps and plateaus.
Yeah.
You're going to make headway on something, and then it's going to kind of plateau out. You've got as good as you can get at that particular thing at this particular time in your jiu-jitsu career, because you don't have the skills upon which to build a bigger home yet. So it's like, okay, I'm doing, pick some random topic. You're doing the bump sweep, and it's like, okay, you're getting everybody with the bump sweep, and it's as good as it's going to get. You're getting all the white belts with it. You've gotten some blue belts with it. You even sniffed at a purple belt with the bump sweep, and now you're like, okay, I'm going to move on to something else. And now as you start learning that something else, you're no longer playing with the bump sweep. And then like 4 weeks later, you see an opportunity for the bump sweep and you go for it and you miss it. And you're like, wait a minute, I was so good at that.
So long,
But the good news is it doesn't take as long to get back to that level. So it's like your jiu-jitsu career is always going to be this, and this, if you want to be good at jiu-jitsu, right? Because there's people who they train to a certain point. Let's just say they get good enough to be a blue belt, right? And then from that point on, they only do the things they're good at. They never do anything else. They never try to experiment with a new style of guard, or try to learn a new submission, or work their defensing or escapes or whatever it is. Like, they just do their A game. And that's it. Now they're blue belt for life, and they're never going to get any better. They don't experience that up and down because they're just
coasting through. Yeah.
People who are trying to get really good at jiu-jitsu will experience those ups and downs and ups and downs. It's not only on the mat technical, but like here too, like emotional stuff where you're just like, man, I'm not feeling it today, I'm going to skip. Or I'm not feeling it this week. Or, woe is me, that guy who never passed my guard before passed my guard today. Boo-hoo. And you get down on yourself. Like, you get those emotional slumps and plateaus, too. And then other times you're high on jiu-jitsu. You're like, I love jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, it can be bipolar. Like, jiu-jitsu can be really, like, mood swingy.
There was definitely times where it's just like you couldn't hit a move and you just get submitted. You had a bad day and you were just getting your face smashed in. It's like, why the hell am I here?
Yeah. You go home, nothing's working for you.
Nothing works.
Yeah. You're in the shower crying. You're just like, oh, my God, a good shower cry after jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
The best ones.
Dude, those are the best.
Yeah.
That's why I keep the tissues stocked up here so that you guys can have a good cry in between sessions, But there's times where it is like that, where it's like nothing worked.
Yeah.
Even in the like the technical portion of class of learning the move, you're like, I just can't get my body to move. My right hand won't do what it's supposed to do. I know it's supposed to turn and twist and choke, and it won't do it. And especially it's frustrating when it's something like where you watch it and you go, I know what I'm supposed to do. It's just not happening. And then you follow that with a bad sparring session and whatever, and then you go home and it's easy to go, just throw your hands up in the air and give up. Like, I give up, But the people who suck it up and come back start to get good.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
eventually you're gonna get decent at it.
Yeah, you don't suck as bad as you did.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not an easy martial arts to learn. Actually, it's the hardest martial arts to learn.
I would agree with that. Yes. Yeah.
But I mean, if it's hard, then like the reward is going to be great at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It allows you to learn a great deal about yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because the amount of physical and mental pressure that gets put on you during sparring sessions really allows you to see what you're made of. Do you break and run off the mat and quit? Want to have a good shower cry and then never come back and never spar again and move on to bigger and better things. And right?
Yeah, been there.
Just in your short time here, in within a year, you've seen that happen. Right?
Oh, there's days where you just got your ass kicked.
You just get your ass handed to you,
and you just like, what the hell? Like, I'm embarrassing everybody because I'm here and I'm getting my ass kicked, and
I suck so bad. But then somebody picks you up and dusts you off and goes,
"Oh yeah,
dude." Like, okay, you're sad, but get over it and get back in there and roll another round. Get one more. Come back tomorrow, do it again, and then all of a sudden you look back. For me, here's how I try to tell people to gauge your progress, because it's hard in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
I just said at the top of this interview, I'm 22 years in, right? I'm not good at jiu-jitsu. I just suck less than I did 22 years ago is what it is. So for me, what I tell people is that the best way for you to gauge how you're growing, what your growth is in jiu-jitsu, jump in the DeLorean, set the time machine for 6 months ago. Go back and fight yourself.
I could kick
your own ass, right? You'd kick the shit out of your 6 months ago. So think about the dude that walked in the door the first time. What you would do to him? Yeah.
You'd be done.
You'd beat that fat nerd up, right?
That big stupid nerd.
That big dumb nerd. You'd beat him up.
Steal his lunch money.
Steal his cookie money. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy though. But I'm super. I'm super happy for you that your journey is going the way it is. I'm proud of seeing the work you put in. A lot of people around the academy are like, dude, Shawn's killing it. Like, so you got to keep, just keep that fire going, and inspire other people. That's what this comes down to. I've said it a couple of times where I do these sit downs. One, for me to learn more about you guys, but two, for somebody out there who's watching to go, hey, that's me. They point at you and they go, hey, that's me. I'm that guy. If he can do it, I can do it.
Oh yeah.
And now, boom, you just inspired somebody to come and train. And
if you stay with it, you're gonna get better eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, but you gotta put in the time. Again, like you said, you gotta put in the time and effort into it. Now, another thing, your blueprint is coming up.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. Listen, that's the very first blueprint I showed up. I will never forget
the invisible underhook.
Yeah, the Deadpool choke is the one that I always remember because I rolled with Alex.
Alex.
Yeah,
Yes.
Alex.
Yes. Yeah.
And we were partnered up. And once we got to the Deadpool choke, we're like,
Brain broke.
brain broke, rock.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Everybody else is like, okay, well, you know, the higher belts are like, okay, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Me and Alec are like,
Yep.
do you know what you, like,
Any
I don't
idea?
know. No.
Yeah.
No, because it was like so much, like, okay, the rabbit trap. Okay, you know how to do that.
Right.
Like, you have an idea of it.
Yes.
As a white belt, you're like, oh, doing this. Once it came to the Deadpool choke, it was just, everything was out the door. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing now.
Yeah, and here's and that's another interesting part of like learning jiu-jitsu is accepting that there's going to be information that's presented to you that you're just not ready for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that used to drive me fucking nuts when like I'd be training somewhere, I'd be at a seminar or something like that, and I'd ask a question and like the black belt would go, "Yeah, you're not ready for that yet." Now I understand it. You know, like
Yeah.
I wanted to know then, but it was like, no, you're not ready to know yet. You know, like I can show you this formula from calculus, dude, but you're still learning how to do fractions. So there's no way you're gonna understand this calculus formula.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we gotta work up to it. And you know, at that time you weren't ready for the Deadpool choke.
No,
You
absolutely
know?
not. That was
That's-
only like a month or
Yeah, you
two
were like
into
a
my
month in.
training.
Yeah, yeah. You were ready for the Americana.
Yeah.
Cool, but the Deadpool choke went, and that's anytime I'm doing a blueprint here, or I'm traveling on the road to other people's schools and instructing seminars at other people's schools. When I plan out my curriculum for that event, I know there's drop-off points.
Yeah.
I know the white belts are going to fall off here,
Mhm.
and I know the blue belts are going to fall off here, and the purples here, and the browns and blacks will be the only ones left remaining who can understand the final technique. You know, and then that way it's this progressional build-up that no matter what you are, white belt or black belt in that room, you're taking something from it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the next time it comes around, now you're no longer a white belt, you're a blue belt, and now you're like, oh, my fall-off point's a little farther. I can
Yeah,
understand what
yeah.
Jeff's talking about.
Right.
You know, you'll hear that a lot just in everyday normal classes here in the academy. You'll hear you know, a multi-stripe blue belt or a purple belt, sometimes even a brown or a black belt go, you know what, I missed that detail the last time you taught that. That's why that move's not working for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like sometimes we hear it, but we don't hear it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it didn't stick.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to come back to things sometimes. A lot of people, you know, they come to a session and they're like, oh, this is a big thing with self-defense workshops. I'm going to bash on these things for a second. I used to do a lot of self-defense workshops because I thought they helped. And then I realized they don't help. They do more harm than good. Because what happens is, and this happens on the mat, on the regular, you learn a new technique. Let's just say Americana, right? Oh, I learned the Americana today. I know the Americana now. No, you don't. You gotta see that lesson 5 more times before
It sinks in.
it sinks in.
Yeah.
And you gotta do it 1,000 more times in dry fire practice with your partner letting you do it. Then you gotta fail at it 1,000 times in a live roll, you know, and then you get it your first time in a live roll. And now you have a basic understanding
Mm-hmm.
of the Americana.
Yeah.
What I tell people is, you know the Americana when you can tap me with it. That's when you know the Americana. Now you've got it. Now you've got it. And with the women's workshops and things like that, you know, anti-bullying workshops, you know, and this, 90 minutes of a self-defense program workshop, dude, that did nothing for you. No, you're not going to go out there and, you know, somebody's going to run up behind you and grab you and try to put you in the rape van. You're not gonna do anything because you did this 90-minute workshop. It does more harm than good, you know, and that's why it's like, hey, we got to get you in the door. You got to be training consistently, and we got a ton of great women that train tough as nails.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's some of those women that, if God forbid somebody ever puts their hands on them,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna learn real fast. You know,
Yeah.
protected by fuck around and find out. Like
yeah.
that's. You
You
know,
done fucked up.
you done fucked up, yeah. And but yeah, that's a rant. I could do that as a black belt commentary. That's a rant.
Yeah.
But
I'm still nervous about competition. Like that comp is coming
Yeah.
up October 1st.
Yes, October 1st. You're on short time now.
Yeah, very short time.
Yeah, you're 3 weeks out,
Yeah.
if that. But this will be your first competition, and I think that's something too that I think that's kind of a check mark in a lot of people's jiu-jitsu journey, where you go, I just want to try it once and see what it's about,
Yeah.
and that's where you're at right now. And you got all those different scenarios going through your head, like how big's the bracket gonna be, and how big, what if my first guy's 300 pounds, and this and that, and it's like it's overwhelming, right?
It is.
So what I tell people is, this is such a good exercise, and this is a good exercise for anything that jiu-jitsu related or life related that's stressing you out. Write down all of your concerns. Right, so you literally sit down with pen and paper and go, what if my first opponent's 300 pounds? What if I miss a takedown? What if, you do all of that. You write them all fucking down. You get them out of your head onto paper. And then you scratch them out, the ones that there's nothing that you can control. If they're outside of your control. What if my opponent's 300 pounds? I don't know, that's outside my control. I have no control over that.
Okay.
Don't fucking worry about that. What if I miss the takedown? Okay, I got some control over that. I can get some extra reps in on a takedown. And you just systematically go down, well, I can't control that. Don't worry about it. Can't control that. Don't fucking worry about it. And then that way I get to focus on the things that I can control. And I can be better at them.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing when you're going into, when you start your tournament career. Not that it's a career, but when you start your tournament journey, understanding what you should be concerned about and what you shouldn't be concerned about. And that's everything in life. It's like, I don't know.
I think the biggest thing about this competition coming up is me looking like an ass in front of everybody at the gym.
Dude, it happens. We all take losses, we all take wins. It's more so about facing that first tournament is what I tell people. It's more so about facing the fear of the unknown. It's different if you've come up through wrestling. Like, I wrestled my whole life and whatever. So when I did my first jiu-jitsu tournament, I didn't have a lot of nerves because I had wrestled. I'd wrestled in front of people and crowds and this and this. But when you're getting into that the first time, you're nervous about looking like a fool.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, so is everybody else. Everybody in your bracket is nervous about looking like a fool. Right? So who gives a fuck? You just go out there and you do it.
Yeah.
And if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. In the end, it's a piece of painted plastic.
Yeah.
What really matters is you confronted the fear, you overcame the fear, and now you're better for it. Because you're going to go, okay, I did this, and this really well at the tournament. I did this horribly, and I have to fix that. It exposes some weaknesses. Bob Mazzata, you train with, you and Bob are often partnered up. When he did his first tournament, he came back and he's like, it opened my eyes to my cardio problem. I have a cardio problem. He's like, I need better cardio.
Yeah.
And he started sparring more and pushing himself a little harder and sparring and getting that. That's what tournaments should be for. You're going to test yourself in an arena that's going to expose weaknesses, and then you come back to the academy and you fix those weaknesses.
Yeah.
Or you don't. And that's your
shit.
choice.
Yeah.
But based on your performance up to this point inside of the gym, I think you're gonna take something and you're gonna come back and you're gonna go, I need to work on this. I need to fix it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's a white belt tournament. It's a white belt bracket at a tournament, and it's what? You have to get better at everything because you're a white belt.
Yeah.
You suck at everything because you're a white belt.
Yeah.
And there's no expectations because you're a white belt. You just go out there, you do it, you have fun. It's like, it's crazy.
It's
my first ever jiu-jitsu tournament. I was already a blue belt. I had never competed. I had competed at in-house stuff, as a white belt, but never anything that was, like a naga or anything like that. I didn't do a naga until I was already a blue belt, which I regret because I would have rather have had the experience as a white belt at a big tournament like that rather than just local in-house things. local in-house things are okay. They have their purpose. They can help develop you, but having all those eyes on you helps. You know what I mean? It helps. It just harnesses that lizard brain to be like, all right, it's time to go. Let's do this. You know.
Yeah,
but my first time competing at blue belt, I got embarrassed because I was murdering the dude, like 28 to something, or whatever it was. It was a lot. It was like, and I'm passing his guard now, and I'm like, I want the finish. There's like 30 seconds left, and I can hear from the corner, my corner guy, 30 seconds, 28 seconds, whatever it was. He yells the timeout, and I'm like, all right, fuck this, finish this guy. And I hear him go, just hang out, clamp his hips, control him in the guard, stop passing, stay. And he's giving advice. And I'm going, I'm finishing this guy. And I keep pushing, and he catches the arm lock. Bang. Less than 10 seconds on the clock, and I have to tap.
No.
And I just sat there for a moment, just soaking in the utter embarrassment of that happening to me. And then I went, well, nothing I can do about it now, other than go back to the gym and learn that lesson of, if you're up by 20 plus points, don't be an asshole, just write out the clock and get the W, But I was always, that was a huge mistake in front of a lot of people, and I remember looking over at the coach, and he's just going, like, dude, I'm not even mad at you, I'm disappointed. Like one of those things, like how mom and dad, like, I'm not even mad at you, bro, I'm just disappointed, and you just break, awful. And you're like, oh.
That's horrible.
Dust yourself off, go and have a good shower cry, and
shower cry.
Come back and do it again, man.
Do it all over again.
I think you're gonna do, I think you're gonna do well at this tournament. To be honest with you,
we have 3 brackets I'm going to. Gi, no gi, and not. Absolute. Yeah, absolute. So, now I've played football before. Like, I played with people. We sucked. I mean, never won a game. I think I've only won 1 game in my lifetime, and that was against Montrose. But
I thought you were going to say Monopoly.
Yeah, Monopoly. Yeah.
Like I won Monopoly.
I won Monopoly. Yeah, I have. Barely.
Yeah.
But no, I'm used to, like, when I played football back in high school. I always remember our team used to suck. Like, I don't think I've ever won a game. I want to say like I said, only one. I don't think I've won.
So now's the time to shine. You're going to go out there, you're going to get a couple wins, and you'll get a couple losses along the way too. I mean, it's part of competing. You compete enough, you're gonna lose sometimes, and you're gonna win a lot.
Can't win them all.
Can't win them all. No. Nope. I remember training with a guy. This is over a decade ago. Avid competitor, 85 straight losses. Then he finally got a win.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Then he finally got a win. He just would never give up. And he just kept pushing. But yeah, 85 or 87 straight losses, something like that. And then finally one day got a win.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Never got another win after that.
Really?
But he got the one. And that was it.
That's all it takes.
Climb the mountain, baby. I'm looking out over Everest now.
Yeah.
Like that's
how
what it is.
How do you just not quit after that? 87 losses.
And that's the mental tenacity of, I think, jiu-jitsu provides us. Like, hey, I'm going to keep at this until I reach this goal.
Yeah.
Reach this goal. And it's just, whatever it is. I want to be 180 pounds. I want to be a black belt one day. I want to win a tournament. I just want to win one match. I just want to not be afraid walking out of my house, going to the grocery store. Whatever your goal is, jiu-jitsu can provide it for you if you do the work appropriately. Yeah. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. It will give you nothing you don't work for.
Right.
I want to be a blue belt. Okay. You working for that? I haven't seen you in like 3 months, so you must not want to be a blue belt too much, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be a black belt one day. You are? What do you train? Once a week? Maybe one day you'll be a black belt like 100 years from now, sure.
Yeah, probably.
But if the work doesn't match the goal, jiu-jitsu will give you nothing back. Nothing but heartache. It's a cruel mistress.
It is. It's brutal. Mentally, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Again, it is just because you have good days. Like I said before, you have good days and you have bad days, and the bad days are outweighing the good days currently right now. Because when you get your face smashed in, it's like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, when you're, and that's the thing. When you're training, there's definitely a difference between, beginner stages, right? Just starting to learn your stuff, and then there's, you have your everyday training, and then you have your tournament training, and that's different. I've always said tournament training should suck. It shouldn't be pleasant. It's like my diet, my extra sparring session. I'm running. I'm sore, but I know I have to get there and spar because my opponents are probably sparring right now and they're getting better. And like the level at which to be a competitor versus like casual. I hate that word, not casual. Non-competitor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So competitor versus non-competitor. That's two totally different training levels.
oh yeah. Yes.
When I was still actively competing, it didn't matter what hurt. If this elbow was injured, I put my hand in my belt and just use this hand to train. If my knee hurt, then I was gonna work on being on the bottom of crossbody, and it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't play guard, my knee hurt. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You have to overcome it in training and push harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. Now that I'm not competing actively anymore, I get to enjoy some casuality in my training where I go, you know what, I don't feel like it today, my neck hurts, so I'm not going to train.
Now, are you going to compete at least one more time or what? Don't know. Game time decision?
I mean, never say never, but I got asked yesterday. I received a message, and I politely declined it. So, I feel like for me, I've put my body of work in as far as competing, and now my role is to be an instructor, be a teacher, and bring up the next generation of people. That's my goal now. I get happy when I see Nick Bachman go and compete, and he's got a big smile on his face and he crushes everybody. I get a warm fuzzy feeling when I see Tyler grab somebody up and give him a shoulder of justice and grind them into dust. That to me now is where it is. It no longer has to be about me. It can be about everybody else.
Yeah.
Because as a competitor, you have to be somewhat selfish. You have to be somewhat selfish as a competitor. Whatever that competition realm is, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, football, baseball, MMA, you have to on some level be a selfish person while you're training. You don't have to be a selfish person off the mat and whatnot. But hey, this role's about me. I don't care what you're working on. I'm working on this, and I'm gonna get that extra round, and I'm gonna, because that's it. So for me to not have to have that anymore is kind of liberating for me.
Yeah.
I just get to rejoice in everybody else's success now.
Good.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be.
Yeah.
I'm pretty zen.
Yeah. Are you zen? But
I am. I'm in a super good place, man. You ever get a chance to sit down and you probably you ever get a chance to sit down at open mat when Tyler or Ned or some of the other black belts are talking about purple belt Jeff? Man, that guy was a prick. That guy was such an asshole. They'll tell war stories about it, and I just sit there and I'm just like, oh man, I was such a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a scumbag. Yeah, but I was actively competing. I was building a program. I was building an academy, and so I had to be a selfish person in order to achieve all that. It worked out.
Yeah,
it worked out. Now I don't have to be that. I can be Mr. Miyagi now instead of John Kreese.
I still haven't finished Cobra Kai.
I haven't yet either, so let's not even broach it.
Did you even watch one episode?
No, I haven't touched season 5 yet because I know I'm gonna binge watch it. It's like meth, you try it one time and you're fucking hooked. So that's it,
On episode 8,
yeah.
I might give you a little spoiler Monday.
No spoilers.
Well, you gotta watch it. No excuses. be like,
No, you're not even gonna see me Monday. I'm going on vacation.
oh, that's right. You know,
You're my last interview before vacation.
Good. Save the best for
Hey,
last.
I was gonna say I hate to end it on a sour note, but it is what it is.
Wow. I'm gonna remember that.
That one hurt, right?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Shawn. I
All
think
right,
we're
that's
gonna
me.
wrap this up.
Mr. Jeff.
I'm gonna have to play with the audio levels because you're a mumbler.
I'm not a mumbler. He's
Good.
a mumbler.
You're a mumbler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I'll have to play with the audio levels here, or otherwise people are gonna say, "Are you talking to yourself?"
But enjoy that.
Your enunciations.
Oh yeah.
But thank you. I
Thanks.
appreciate you sitting down with me.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.